Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, what's up? Today I have something special. Maketoys Despotron. This is a third-party representation of Masterpiece Megatron with a more stylized look to the proportions. This guy varies in his retail price and is around the same size as MP10, so it usually goes for around 150, 120 to 150-ish at most places. Sometimes you'll see it like 180 at others, but yeah. It has some die-cast metal all around the figure, mostly in the torso section. So the shoulders, the belly is die-cast. There might be some hidden die-cast throughout the figure as well, I don't know. There's also just a lot of plastic on this guy, making him quite a solid, heavy figure, which is nice. The figure also sports a lot more detail than was seen in the animation, along with the red on the inner legs and all the junk on the shoulders. That may make it look a bit too busy for some people, but to the most part for me it looks fine. The design on the whole I like a lot. I like it the most out of the other main third-party Masterpiece Megatrons we got, including Megatron and Apollyon. But I still prefer MP36's proportions and design more, but I don't have $300 to spend on a Masterpiece toy. In comparison to other Masterpiece figures, he kind of fits. It definitely has its own aesthetic, and upon closer inspection you can see that it doesn't really fit with the overall look that Masterpiece is going for, but from afar it fits in quite well. Oh, and one thing I do have to mention about this is it smells. Out of the box it had a really funny body odor smell. It's mostly gone now. I got this about a week ago, but it still stinks. I had to sit in my room and leave the window open for a bit. It's not nice. Accessories are the alternate faces. You got a lot of nice alternate faces with this figure. You just take the helmet off and put the face on. It's not that hard to do. You get a mace that slides onto his folded up hand, and the fusion cannon. Also, on a side note, the barrel on the gun is super loose on my copy and falls over all the time. And it's on a mushroom peg, but the mushroom peg is actually blocked by the backpack of the figure, so I can't actually take it off, which is really annoying because I want to get in there and fix it, but I can't. Articulation's pretty good. There are some spots that bump into each other, like the shoulders, for example. The little trigger bits bump into like the torso and things, and the legs. So the legs have this, in the transformation they extend, but they don't click into place. So they have this problem where they like to compress a lot. It doesn't happen often, and they don't compress like a ton, but they do compress a little, and it does kind of make posing him a bit of a pain in the butt. Also, on a side note, the torso splits in half a lot when you go to pull the legs down, so you got to be careful, otherwise you'll just start transforming him accidentally. And the ankles have a problem on this guy where he likes to lean forward a lot. So if you can pop the pins out, and there's a lot of plastic surrounding those pins, so it's going to be very difficult, but if you can pop them out, floor polish them up and stick them back in there, because that'll tighten up the feet. Transformation is very involved, but it's not too bad once you get the hang of it. It's definitely not MP36 level from what I've seen. Again, I don't own the figure, it's way too expensive, but it is a handful to do. There's lots of panels and chunks moving around, but once you get everything lined up correctly and get the hang of the transformation, it's fine. But yeah, for the most part, it's just clunky. Gun mode. It's a gun. I don't know a lot about guns because I'm Canadian, okay? I know Canadians like hunting, but just go with the joke. I'm Canadian. This guy did come with an orange plug in the barrel, but you can just take it off. It's not glued on, but it's there for shipping purposes. Also, fun fact, the box, which is a nice box by the way, the box does not have any pictures of the gun mode on the box, like anywhere. That's so that it can clear customs, which is smart. I like that. I think it's funny. But yeah, there's no pictures of the alternate mode on the box so that it can clear customs. The gun is a bit oversized. It's too large to fit in my hand, and I'm tall, so I have kind of larger hands, and it still doesn't fit. The trigger works, sort of. The reason the trigger doesn't spring as much as it should is because the trigger has to compress in robot mode, and it compresses down, and that's misshapen the spring because he's packaged in robot mode, so it's going to be compressed down out of the factory. So it's misshapen the spring, so the spring's not as strong as you'd want it to be. That's why it really doesn't work. You can go in there, probably remove the spring and flip it around, and that'll make it stronger, but over time it'll just flatten itself back out again. Yeah, and he also doesn't come with a stand, so you can't exactly display the gun in gun mode, but I'm not going to display this in gun mode. I'm going to display it in robot mode because that would just look weird if someone walked into my house and was like, oh look, there's a handgun on your shelf. But yeah, this stand here, it's nice to get a Bandai Tamashii Nation stand if you want to have him stand up properly. Next to other Masterpiece figures, obviously this doesn't scale, so don't look at it next to other Masterpiece figures. This version of Megatron also doesn't come with a stock or a silencer, and there's no attachment point at the back for a stock, so I doubt Maketoys is ever going to make one, but that's something to consider when you buy this thing, is that it's not going to come with a stock and a silencer. Then again, it doesn't cost an arm, a leg, a kidney, and your brain. And the scope doesn't have a light up feature, or it doesn't compress, doesn't have any noise or anything like that, but you can sort of see through it. I think that's what they were going for, but it doesn't really work very well. The plastic needs to be a little bit more clear for that to work. And I need something to make this video fun, so epic first person time. Now for a comparison I've wanted to make since I got this thing. Despotron here, next to Rioter Despotron, which is Maketoys' Cross Dimensions take on Megatron. This was one of my first, this was my first major third-party figure that I ever got, was Rioter Despotron. And I prefer the design of Rioter Despotron a little bit more just because I like how stylized it is, but normal Despotron looks really, really cool. Overall, this guy is cool. I mean, I wouldn't pay the ridiculous price like $180 to $200 for it. If you can find it for $150, that's retail. If you can find it for $80 to $100, I'd say yeah, get this guy. He's cool, and I'm happy to have this figure in my collection. I mean, I prefer MP36, but that's way too damn expensive for what you get. You're getting, it's $300 Canadian for that thing. It's ridiculous. But this figure is a really nice alternative, and if you're looking to get one of the 3 MP Megatrons out there that are third party, this guy, Megatron, and Apollyon. Apollyon has the joints issues in the hips and the shoulders that I would kind of want to stay away from, and the transformation apparently is not very fun. Megatron is good, it's just the gun mode has all these like pin gaps in it, and the hips don't ratchet properly, they look weird, and the backpack's a mess, which is why I didn't go for that one either. I prefer this one, to be completely honest, and I'm happy that I made the purchase, and I'd say pick one up, it's nice. Anyways, that's been my look at Maketoys Despotron. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, links in the description. Subscribe for more reviews, that's down below, and don't forget to watch Bionicle Journey to Home, because why the hell not. I will see you next time, goodbye.